are the biggest surprise in the NFL. They're the New Orleans Saints. They've won 4 of their last 5 games and are 2 games back in the NFC West. Meantime, St. Louis has also been a surprise, but of the unpleasant variety. Some had thought the Cardinals were Super Bowl material. Somehow they never have gotten untracked. In a town noted for its jazz, New Orleans running back Reuben Mays has taken off on some distinctive riffs of his own. Mays leads all the rookie ball carriers in the NFL. The Cardinals counter with an air attack led by Cliff Stout. And on the receiving end is one of the league's dangerous threats, Roy Green, who at last is healthy again. The Saints and Cardinals will meet today in St. Louis, and New Orleans head coach Jim Mora hopes it's his team's gateway to an NFC West crown. We're live from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where 2 teams with the same motive but for different reasons meet this afternoon as the New Orleans Saints meet the St. Louis Cardinals. It has been cold, it has been raining for the last 3 days here in St. Louis, but today the weather conditions are excellent. The temperature will be near 50, the humidity at 70%, the wind's negligible. A beautiful day. Hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Hacker along with Dan Jiggets. The New Orleans Saints are looking to continue their winning ways here this afternoon in what they hope will be their first ever winning season. The St. Louis Cardinals, on the other hand, may be rebuilding. They may be looking toward the future. In the last 5 weeks, New Orleans has been one of the hot teams in the NFL. They have won 4 out of 5 ball games. Dan Jiggets, what has been the big change for New Orleans?
First of all, Reuben Mays, the young rookie running back, has been outstanding for this team. Secondly, you look at their defense. It's been playing exceptionally well, especially over the last 5 weeks, and discipline from Jim Mora. He's instilled a quiet confidence in this team that even the casual observer can see.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals are 2-8. Gene Stallings says, let's throw caution to the wind. I'm going to make some changes. Last week, he brought in a new quarterback in Cliff Stout. Today, he's made other changes. Is this really one of those situations where he says, let's give up the ghost and go for next year?
Well, anytime you're 2-8 and you're at this part of the season, you know that some changes are coming next year. It's a fight for survival, and you got to play 110% every chance you get, or you might be gone. And today, St. Louis has to give 110% to beat the New Orleans Saints.
St. Louis has won the toss. They'll receive. And Morton Anderson, one of the finest kickers, if not the finest kicker in the entire NFL, will be teeing the ball up when we're ready to go. Last week, it was his 2 field goals that won the football game, Dan, for New Orleans when they played the Rams.
You know, Jim Mora told us he thinks he's one of the best kickers in the National Football League, and I don't think there's any question about it. Vi Sikahema is one of the best return men in the league. It ought to be an interesting matchup.
As a matter of fact, both teams have great return men. Vi Sikahema is averaging 24.4 yards per kickoff return. They'll just pop this one out on the 20. As Cliff Stout will run the quarterback job today for only the 2nd NFL start in 15 months. The defense this afternoon for the New Orleans Saints looks this way. Clark, Elliott, and Wilkes.
Bruce Clark could be injured today and might be a big factor.
The linebackers are Jackson, Mills, Tolles, and Haynes.
Jackson and Mills are the class of their linebackers in New Orleans, certainly.
The secondary, Waymer, Poe, Gibson, and Watlett.
Good, strong secondary, comes up and hits very well on the run.
Cliff Stout last week threw a lot of interceptions, but he did get the team moving. It'll be 1st and 10 as he's out to the 39-yard line as Doug Marsh gets it. Let's check the St. Louis offense. It'll be Stout, Mitchell, Farrell, Green, Smith.
Nice to see Roy Green back in the lineup.
Sharp, Kennard, Ruther, Bostic, and Smith along with Marsh.
Mike Ruther, his first start in the NFL.
19-yard pickup, the ball at the 40. What does Stout like to do at quarterback?
He's a rollout mobile quarterback, and you're going to see him move around a lot in the pocket, even and outside on the play action.
trying to establish the running game early. They gained 5 yards. To Stump Mitchell, who's had some great ball games against the Saints, carries it.
We get a nice end zone view of the run. You can see Stump Mitchell come back on the counter, OT, backside guard and tackle pulling. He's got to shoot upfield now. He couldn't because Sam Mills was there in his way. As a result, he didn't make the kind of yardage he probably could have on the play. In that play, they like to pull that backside guard and tackle and pull him around and block out the front side interference. And I'll show more of that later on, hopefully.
Gene Stallings thinks his team can throw against this ball club. I think the Saints are expecting it. Mitchell gets just about 1 yard as Elliott makes it.
And we got a flag on the play from the far side.
Last year, Stump Mitchell carried the ball 28 times for 158 yards and 2 TDs against New Orleans.
Yeah, he's really given New Orleans fits. And I'm sure they're worried about it today.
Offside, number 75 defense, lined up in the neutral zone. First down.
So the second first down's been picked up by the St. Louis Cardinals.
You know, one of the interesting things to watch today is to see whether or not St. Louis is going to try to run the ball all day at New Orleans.
St. Louis has been a very poor team in scoring. They've had only 2 field goals, one against Tampa Bay, the other one last week against San Francisco. Cliff Stott said you didn't know what pressure was until you'd been in a huddle in Pittsburgh and had people throw a full beer can at you. All 3 carries have gone to this man. That is Stump Mitchell, as Alvin Tolles makes the stop.
One of the key things for the Cardinals today will be how much they pick up on first down. It'll determine, again, what they're going to do on second down, whether or not they have to go to the deep pass on second down. They'd like to get Stump at least 4 yards downfield on first down plays.
Well, last year, Stump averaged over 5 yards a carry. Mitchell, 2 more yards.
Yeah, those are 2 tough yards, though. The inside of the Saints defense is very difficult to run against. I think you'll probably have more success going outside. Tony Elliott is exceptional inside at the nose tackle.
Elliott says he likes a physical ball game, one man against the other. He doesn't like a lot of finesse football.
Big number 99. He's a hoss in the middle, I'm telling you.
Looks like one of the Clydesdales that is so familiar down to this area. No score. We just started here in St. Louis. Stout. He got him.
One of the interesting things that the Saints have started doing is sending people from their secondary on blitzes. And here you're going to get a chance to see Antonio Gibson come from the right side of your screen and runs past Earl Farrell and gets the sack. This is very important because earlier in the season they hadn't been doing that, and it was presenting a problem for them.
That offensive line and their lack to keep the defense away from Neil Lomax is why Lomax is watching from the sideline today. This is Greg Cater out of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Eric Martin. St. Louis stopped at about the 1.
I think they went into the end zone, the way everybody's so animated.
I thought they had a chance to stop it on the 1-foot line, but it didn't happen that way. They relaxed a bit after a 47-yard punt. So there is no score from here in St. Louis as we have begun the ball game with the Cardinals and the Saints.
Chardonnay, Zinfandel, Gewürztraminer, Sauvignon Blanc, Johannesburg Riesling, Cabernet Sauvignon. The vintage-dated varietal wines of Ernest and Julio Gallo, among the most respected in America, among the most respected in the world. Today's Gallo, all the best a wine can be.
Look at this. You can walk around here. I was in one airport, nothing but crowds. Well, I had my suit pressed by 500 people. I told the guy, I'm looking for gate 46. He gave me a compass. By the time I got there, I missed the plane. But I got lucky, though. My luggage made it. Now I fly Western. They get me home on time so I can be with my wife. Are you sure the plane isn't late?
Western Airlines connects you fast through Salt Lake. It's the only way to fly.
We played less than 1 quarter here in St. Louis. It is 0-0. New Orleans and St. Louis. David Wilson, the starting quarterback today for the Saints. He says he got confidence last week when they reactivated A-Bay. Let's look at the defensive alignment. It's Claspy, Galloway, and Baker for the Cards. Nunn, Jr., Noga, and Baker. E.J. Jr., a surprise starter. He has been injured for most of the week. Actually, he was out last week. Ruben Mays, what an outstanding find he has been for the New Orleans Saints. As we look at the offense for the Saints, Wilson, Mays, Jordan, Martin, and Jones.
Mays, the class of the running backs there.
Kantz, Edelman, Hort, Comiskey, Brock, and Tice.
Big, strong, developing offensive line.
The team that has won 4 of the last 5. Only the Jets have done better. Establish it quickly up the middle. First down for New Orleans. They tell us that the city of New Orleans is on fire with this team already.
You've got to believe that everybody's getting excited. They see a team developing with young players, and that's the key. And that confidence that we talked about at the top of the show. These guys have a confidence now that they can win, whereas before it used to be the kind of thing, well, if we win, we're lucky.
You were there a few weeks ago. Is it starting to build then?
Absolutely. That was the beginning of it, really. Mays gets about 3. That's Cedric Mack who takes him down. Ruben Mays, a very quiet young man. We had time to spend with him yesterday afternoon. He is very interesting. You know, he's from New Battleford, Saskatchewan, I believe, up in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan. And, you know, he developed a lot different. He grew up playing hockey and those types of things. It's not really football wasn't a big thing up there then, but he has developed into one of the best young running backs in the National Football League.
He was a 3rd-round draft choice and very well maybe the steal of last year's draft. 2nd and 7. Incomplete at about the 47. We're told that Mike Ruther has a bruised leg. He may or may not return. Ruther, of course, was the starting center this afternoon for St. Louis, as he replaced a man who had been starting for 42 consecutive ball games, Randy Clark.
I played with Randy early on in Chicago, early in his career, and I thought it was a mistake that we let him go at that time.
Randy just hadn't been getting the job done as of late here in St. Louis. This is Wilson. They're coming at him. Complete to Martin, but flags are down. Eric Martin, who was an outstanding football player at LSU, was taken down to the 26-yard line after a gain of 34. It's going to be against the Saints. They'll call it back.
This will be a good test for the Saints. Now, you've got a little setback here early on. Let's see how they react to it. And again, it gives you an indication of, you know, what their thinking is and how they're feeling about themselves. Do they have the confidence to come back from a deficit like this?
Offside, lined up in the neutral zone, number 88 offense, still 3rd down.
And that'll make it 3rd down and 12. The ball back just shy of the 35. No score. The Cardinals and the Saints here in Busch Stadium. Then what do you look for in the Saints this afternoon? What do you look for them to do offensively?
They've got to run the ball. That's the thing that they do best right now, is running the football with Ruben Mays, and they're going to do it today.
Almost first interception by the Cards, the team that has had fewer interceptions than any other team in the league.
Well, they're trying to switch up some things in the secondary, too. You've got Dennis Thurman starting back there now and Carl Carter, and I think you'll see a little bit more zone out of them today. Just on the off chance that they can pick off a couple of balls, and Dennis Thurman, of course, is captaining in that secondary.
Coach Jim Morrow says this is the finest punter for his money in the NFL. This is handsome, and he has done a nice job for them.
Certainly has. Let's see what Visek and Hemmick can do on the other end today.
It's a good bounce, but in favor of the Cards, and they'll down it at the 31-yard line.
It looked like Cedric Mack was dodging BBs that time.
A 34-yard kick by Hansen. We still have no score. We're in the first quarter from here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis.
Time was you could put a truck on the market and get by with just an ordinary guarantee. With Ford and Chevy, it's still that way. At Dodge, we put a standard 550 protection plan on every truck we build. Every truck we build. Now ask yourself, where would you rather be, back there with them or out here with Dodge? America's best back trucks are Ram tough, and that's guaranteed.
Hello, Mr. Brown.
I need an answer now.
Oh,
see me on that Sawyer thing.
Sawyer? Oh, no, Mr. Brown.
Call your wife.
Call my wife.
JB needs you immediately.
Needs me.
To prevent interruptions, get the new Lanier Easy Talk. 6 different messages can appear on its screen, and speed dialing can access up to 300 names, so you can return your most important calls quickly.
Hello, dear. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
Lanier, we're easy to use.
Watch closely. You're looking at America's 2 leading premium beers. Because Miller High Life comes in a clear bottle, you probably think it's the lighter of the 2. But life is full of surprises. You see, Miller High Life is brewed darker from this special and expensive roasted malt. Pour them for yourself. See the difference roasted malt can make. Then compare the taste, and you just might find out what a beer made the American way is all about. Miller High Life.
That's Jim Mora, the head football coach for the New Orleans Saints, who won 2 of the 3 championships there was to win in the USFL.
And not only that, he looks like he's out of Central Casting, doesn't he?
And Gene Stallings, who coached under the great ones. Tom Landry, Bear Bryant was an outstanding college coach at Texas A&M. He's having a 2-8 record, which is the worst after 10 weeks of any Cardinal team since they came over from Chicago in 1960. It has been given to Stump Day, and Stump has done the job for the Cardinals as he rambles for 11 yards there.
We're going to get a chance to see Stump Mitchell punch it right up the middle now. Watch on the right side of your screen. Counter on the handoff. Here comes the backside tackle, 76, Louis Sharp. And there goes Stump through the hole. You know, this play is something that St. Louis is going to feature today, I think. And we might watch to see if they're going to pass off of this at some point or another.
You see the stats for Mitchell. As we told you earlier, last year he had 158 yards against the Saints. Just outside of the reach of J.T. Smith. And now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for an NFL Today report. Brent?
Ralph, the first big play of the day in the NFC, and Randy Wright apparently has recovered from that concussion he sustained a week ago. Number 16, 53 yards to Philip Epps, number 85 of the Packers. If they're not careful, they'll deal themselves out of the Vinny Testaverde Bowl. Back to Ralph.
It is 2nd down and 10. The ball on the 42-yard line. New Orleans and St. Louis. St. Louis still looking for its first quarter touchdown of the year. Earl Farrell, and it fooled absolutely nobody as Ricky Jackson, who's the leading tackler on this football team, makes the stop.
It looked like Ricky Jackson read that book last night. He wasn't very surprised by that play. But you know, one of the interesting things that's happening here now is they're moving Stump out a little bit, trying to move him to different areas of the field to give a different look. And I know that what they're trying to do is set up St. Louis and see how they react to those changes. And that first quarter, that's generally what you do. You probe a little bit to see how they're going to react defensively.
And when Cliff Stott lines up behind center, he'll probably be looking to throw, and he's looking at a defense that has intercepted 18 this year, number 2 in the NFC from the shotgun. Incomplete, and again Greg Cater will have to come on, as J.T. Smith was the intended receiver.
You know, Johnny Poe has been playing exceptionally well, and he's covered J.T. very well on that play. J.T., on the other hand, has had an exceptional season so far, catching 44 balls for over 500 yards.
Greg Cater, second punt of the day. Not too long. Eric Martin had signaled fair catch, and it'll be touched down on the 25-yard line. A 35-yard punt by Cater. And next Saturday, it's college football doubleheader with Rose Bowl ramifications here on CBS. In the first game, one of the great rivalries as Ohio State hosts Michigan in Columbus, with the winner taking the Big Ten title and a trip to Pasadena, Dan.
That game is almost as big as the Ivy League Harvard versus Yale, Ralph.
Well, then in game 2, it's the Pac-10 champion, Arizona State, John Cooper, up against interstate rival Arizona. Two great rivalries, two great games next Saturday at 11 Central here on CBS.
All right, I'm looking forward to those.
So it's as big as the Yale-Harvard game, huh?
Harvard-Yale.
New Orleans, their second possession. Wilson. That's almost a first down, but it's going to be a yard shy, as Freddie Joe Nunn makes the stop.
You know, as you're discussing New Orleans, you can't forget about Dalton Hilliard. Here we're going to get a chance to see him run on the left side of the offensive line. Again, they're pulling from the backside, trying to give him something up the middle. He has to take it a little bit wide, a couple of jukes there, and he gets some yardage on the play. Again, he's not getting the blocking, I don't think, that Ruben Mays is getting on the sweeps, because it's a little bit more difficult for them to run inside, it appears, than outside with the speed of Ruben Mays.
But Hilliard's carried for 19 yards today. You saw his stats for the season. Wilson. He overthrew everybody, and flags are down. There was nobody in the area, but we may have a little holding call over here against the St. Louis Cardinals. Looked as though Carter was having a little contact early. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be on Carl Carter, the 5'11", 22-year-old fourth-round draft choice in '86, a rookie out of Texas Tech.
Illegal use of hands to the face, number 45 defense, first down.
Make it on Leonard Smith. I only saw Carter over in that area.
Ooh, that sounds bad. Leonard Smith must be getting a little aggressive back there.
You know, he has one interception this year, and he's been the leading tackler this year on this football team for the Cardinals, Danny.
And he's played exceptionally well, too. And I think now what he's trying to do is establish the fact that you don't run back here on me.
First and 10. That's a gain of about 4 yards as Charlie Baker makes the stop.
Ralph, something your viewers can watch at home is when Ruben Mays runs the ball, watch the offensive guards of New Orleans pulling and blocking for him at the point of attack. That's where he's going to run the ball. It's a clear indication. You see number 66, Kaminsky, pulling one side, or Brad Edelman pulling to the other side. Clear indication of what kind of play they're trying to run, that outside toss and get the block in the corner.
2nd and 5, no score. New Orleans, St. Louis from Busch Stadium. Wilson. Flags are down as he completes it for the first down. That was Hobie Brenner. He's had the flu. This is the first time he's been back at full strength, and he picks up 14 yards, but it all may be for naught. It will be.
And also, Hobie's been playing with a cast on his hand for a receiver. You know how difficult that must be.
Well, for the second time this afternoon, we have seen a New Orleans drive stymied.
The face, number 66 offense, still second down.
We've seen a New Orleans drive stymied by a penalty call.
Yeah, it seems like faces are very popular today. Everybody's going to the head for some reason or another. If you're going to do it, you have to do it quick.
Do it and get out of the way.
That's it. Hit and move.
All you big guys think that way. 2nd and 15. Again, Wilson. That was deflected up at the line of scrimmage.
And it looked like Charlie Baker had an opportunity maybe to make the interception off the tip ball.
David Galloway was in the area. Wilson, by the way, is 0 for 3 through the air today. Wilson also told us yesterday that he thought that he could throw against the St. Louis Ball Club. Thought he'd have a big day through the air.
Well, you know, it's the kind of thing when you're going in, you always say those kinds of things, but I think reality is something else when you get on the field and you find out what they're doing against you defensively. They haven't put any pressure on him, by the way, though.
They gave David Galloway credit for knocking that ball down. He became a new father. I think it was his third on Friday. He and his wife, Jussie, they have a new son with 8 pounds, 12 ounces, named Ryan. That one's complete. That's Mike Jones, who came out of bounds. He's the split end out of Tennessee State. #1 receiver this year.
Mike Jones has been developing for New Orleans, and here you're going to get to see him run an out pattern. Nice fake inside, drives inside, comes back towards the sideline. That's something that's difficult to teach young receivers to do, is to give that fake and then come back and get the ball. Another thing receivers have not been doing this year in the National Football League is coming back to the ball, and what results out of that is interceptions. You've got to drive back to the football when the quarterback throws it to you.
That last one netted him 18 yards. A gain of about 4.5 as Leonard Smith makes the stop. Again, Reuben Mays, outstanding rookie running back out of Washington.
You know, I can't say enough about Reuben Mays. He plays like he's been playing for about 5 or 6 years. He's got that kind of maturity when he's running the ball, and that's very unusual for rookie running backs. Usually they put the ball on the carpet a couple of times and put you in a tough spot. He has not done that this season. He's been very consistent, and with a 5-yard per carry average, that's exceptional for anybody.
The other players tell us it's hard for them to believe he's only a rookie. 2nd and 4. Big play coming from Freddie Joe Nunn, who they have said is not an impact player, has yet to become an impact player. The man from Nanawana, Mississippi, makes a stop.
Yeah, they're going to start bringing some people now. They got to put some pressure on Dave Wilson. And on this fake, he didn't fool anybody but himself, I don't think. And there you see Bob Clasby giving chase. Freddie Joe Nunn with the big play, pulls him down to the carpet.
Loses 14 on it.
You know, one of the things that St. Louis has to do is send more people on the pass. If you just send those 3 up front guys, it's not enough to put pressure on the quarterback. You absolutely have to send one of those linebackers.
3rd and 18. Well, that's a stat that can now be burned, isn't it? They finally allowed a sack after all those ball games. From the eye. Mays never ran from the eye when he was up in Washington.
It caused some problems for him, you know, just in terms of the synchronization of the plays, making sure that he's in tune with what his offensive line is doing.
And again, Hanson's going to have to come to the bench to do his job. The last time he hung one high. Vai Sikahama is the man who will be returning it. Sikahama is averaging 10.5 yards per punt return this year.
The fire dancer. He's going to have to dance on this one. I know they're going to come down there after him.
Another one that's hung very high. Fair catch. Sikahama's going to recover it. At the 16-yard line, a 37-yard punt. He did his job one more time, Dan.
Yeah, he took a real dangerous chance there that the ball got away from him a little bit.
4 minutes, 5 seconds to go. First quarter of play. There's still no score from Busch Stadium here in St. Louis with the Cards and Saints.
We're not a company, but we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge. We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop, to perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach. We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
You stepped up to a 35mm camera because you wanted to get serious about your photography. There, the image is on the film, but will it be on the print? It will if it's Eckerd's UltraLab 35 processing. UltraLab 35 examines each negative for color and contrast. Prints on high-gloss Kodak paper for incredible reproduction, and UltraLab prints are 30% larger. Be sure that the image you shoot is the image you get. Ultralab 35 from Eckert, when you're serious about 35 millimeter.
You see those lights? They're burning out too soon in ordinary soft white light bulbs. But not me. I'm in Sylvania soft white bulbs. Why, in this 60 watt alone, I can burn 50 more hours. And only these Sylvania bulbs have a guarantee. So get Sylvania soft white light bulbs instead of those guys with a dim future.
Ask for Sylvania, where the best comes to light.
The battle for the conference crown. The Wolverines of Michigan, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. The Big Ten collision of the year kicks off a doubleheader next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Gene Stallings became head coach here on February 10th of 1986. He was, of course, the defensive backfield coach with Dallas from 71 through 85. But the story in the paper this morning says that Mora was originally offered the job here. Instead, he took the one over at New Orleans.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think Gene Stallings thinks he made a mistake.
Again, it is Mitchell. Sam Mills, the little man, made the stop.
Yeah, you know, but the important thing on that play was Bruce Clark tried to make the stop in the backfield. He's been banged up a little bit this week, and quite possibly that's the reason why he didn't make the play in the backfield. Bruce Clark, number 75, outstanding defensive end. I saw him last night in the lobby. He just come back from someone's home with a box full of food.
That's when you were trying to go to the room with him to finish off dinner, wasn't it? Let's stop. This is why he's in there. He gets the first down. That's why they got him there, Danny.
You know, one of the things that Cliff Stout can do is give you a little mobility at quarterback. Now here, fakes the handoff. He's rolling out now. He's looking for somewhere to throw downfield. Can't find it. He's the kind of guy that makes a decision right now to head up the field, and that's exactly what he does on this play. You've got to do it now. You can't wait around and dance around in that secondary. That's a rushing average that any running back would be envious of.
2 ball games last week and this one. Mitchell. They got another first down, and Mitchell almost broke that one as Watliff made the stop on it. 11 yards by Stump Mitchell.
We're going to get a chance here to see Stump Mitchell reverse field. Now watch me, he's going to dip inside, cut back outside. He sees the interference there, and this is what makes him so special. He's able to shoot through the hole and get downfield and make yardage, whereas most running backs will spend time at the line trying to decide what to do. Stump just goes for it.
St. Louis has 11 plays, and Mitchell has carried the ball 6 times today. Earl Farrell. Haynes makes the stop. This is Ralph Hacker along with Dan Jiggets. We're live from Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. There is no score in this ball game. The pitch New Orleans Saints against the Cardinals of St. Louis.
You know, one of the interesting things about the Saints, you look at their backfield, St. Louis, is that they don't have a true big fullback. Earl Farrell is not really the big bruising fullback. And that may very well be something that they're going to be looking for in terms of the draft coming up this spring.
We'll look across the line there at Tony Elliott, 99. He looks like a nose tackle.
Yes, he does. He's out of Central Casting also.
That gets him about 1. Bruce Clark made the stop. He's out of Penn State.
Surprisingly enough, he is making plays today. You know, he looked early on in warm-ups like he was having a very difficult time coming off the ball, but he may be doing one of those Jim Browns, you know, where you drag your leg in the warm-ups and after every play, and you play like mad the rest of the time.
Which this is his 66th consecutive start. No score, first quarter. St. Louis would certainly like to get a touchdown on the boards in the first quarter before this year's out.
4-man front on the rush.
Now from the shotgun. It was an incompleted pass. The old Utah.
Ricky Jackson had that one going the other way. We got a little tussling down. You know, St. Louis has become famous for this year, and it's something you absolutely don't need. Louis Sharp's got to be careful because he's going to get a ride out of the ball game if he doesn't stop. This is something that you absolutely don't need in any kind of a football game. no excuse for it. You wait until the next series of downs, and then you get your shots in.
Class. It's only 4th down.
It'll be 4th down, and again, Cater will come in to punt it away. He's punted twice already today. Well, he certainly gets a workout.
He sure does. You know, St. Louis has had problems with their snappers, and I'm sure Greg is a little concerned about whether or not the ball's going to get back to him.
And he gets this a boomer away. And a flag went down.
Penalty flag down.
A 36-yard punt. Again, St. Louis had good coverage around the football.
Greg's got to be thinking, I got to kick that thing again. That was one of his better kicks of the year.
Yesterday, we were talking with Greg, and I asked, flag's got to be against the Saints. I asked him the difference between punting here in the NFL and the USFL, and he said the problem over here in the NFL is that you have so many great punt returners. In the USFL, he said we only had about 4. One of them, however, returns the football for New Orleans, Mel Gray.
Yeah, but you're better off.
Post-possession foul, illegal block, number 25, receiving team, 1st down.
You're better off having to worry about the punt returners than if you're going to get paid.
30 seconds to go. First quarter of play will continue from here in St. Louis in just a minute.
Does Miller High Life come in a clear bottle just to stand out from the crowd? Or is there more to it than that? You see, Miller High Life is brewed dark and rich from this special and expensive roasted malt. How dark and rich? Compare Miller to the other leading premium and see the difference for yourself. When you brew a beer with all the quality and care that goes into Miller High Life, you put it in a clear bottle for the world to see. Because that's the American way.
When you're behind the wheel in LeBaron GTS, it's nice to know GTS excelled in handling in a U.S. Auto Club test, did 0 to 50 in 5.63 seconds, triumphed in braking, and gave BMW and Mercedes something they never expected, a driving lesson. GTS comes sensibly priced with Chrysler's protection plan. You don't drive LeBaron GTS the way USAC did, but it's nice to know you could. Chrysler, driving to be the best.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa's putting smiles on American faces.
When you go with Napa, you go with confidence because every Napa brand part is backed by the Napa National Warranty Program, the most extensive parts warranty program available. There's even a toll-free number to put you in touch with the nearest Napa Auto Parts store. So make sure it's Napa because Napa keeps you going wherever you go.
All the right parts in all the right places. Napa.
Nico Noga, who came out of Hawaii, is a non-smiling person. Dan, how did you work out your frustrations when you lost when you were playing?
Well, you know, much the same as Nico does. He likes to go to the weight room and pump some steel on Mondays. He's had a bad Sunday, or the team has, and I know that feeling. You just want to get out and vent some of the frustrations.
Last week, he had 3 tackles and 1 assist. Hasn't been a factor this afternoon. Ruben Mays again.
You know, when you look at the St. Louis defense, the linebackers have not been overpowering this year, and it's something that really concerns you if you're looking at what makes a defense successful, particularly if you're going to run a 3-4 defense. You've got to have linebackers making big plays for you all the time, and they have not had that this year.
And again, the St. Louis Cardinals will fail to score in the first quarter of yet another football game as the horn sounds to end quarter number 1. With no score, the Saints and the Cardinals from St. Louis.
This man murdered 17 innocent children, and this man is about to set him free. Who does the law protect? Peter Strauss in Penalty Phase, Tuesday.
Hi, I'm Joe Morris. You know, one of the most exciting things to see is young athletes with real talent.
Say, stand, hot 1, hot 2,
How do you tell a kid that he's going blind?
hot 3.
How do you tell a kid that he's got to trade in his football and his playbook for braille lessons and a cane? How do you tell a kid that he's inherited RP and there's no cure yet? What do you tell him? that people he doesn't even know are helping. People like you.
Stay! Stand! Hold!
Support the RP Foundation. Support it as if your eyesight depended on it.
Call the RP Foundation Fighting Blindness at 800-638-2300. The preceding message furnished by the National Football League.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller High Life. Miller made the American way since 1855. Chrysler Motors and its automotive divisions, Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Dodge Trucks, working together to be the best. And by Napa Auto Parts, with all the right parts in all the right places.
Well, last week, the New Orleans Saints held the Los Angeles Rams to 53 yards in the first quarter. Unofficially today, they have held St. Louis to 53 yards. Last week turned out to be a whale of a ball game down in the Dome, as it was a 6-0 victory for the Saints.
And, you know, something that's going to be interesting to watch on this drive is what they come out with. This is an opportunity now. You got to go, you know, 90-some yards and get the ball in the end zone. This is a nice test for the Saints right now.
Green Bay running off now. Tampa Bay. Chicago behind Atlanta. Chicago needs this one. That's Reuben Mays. Clothesline at the 22 by Leonard Smith.
The secondary of the Cardinals has to be very careful about how they're tackling today. Here's a high tackle on Reuben Mays. Very dangerous, not only for the running back, but also for the defensive secondary. You can hurt yourself as well as the running back. Doesn't make any sense to tackle like that. Put the shoulder in and take him out.
Reuben has now carried 6 times for 32. The ground game for New Orleans is give it to Mays, and on the other side of the line, it is give it to Stump. Joe Nunn. Can't fool the man out of Mississippi on that play. It was the #1 draft choice in '83.
Reuben Mays was trying to penetrate up between the guard and the tackle on this play on the right side of your screen. We got a slant down inside. He decided to take it outside, but the number 82 Tice didn't know he was coming out that way. As a consequence, the play was stopped for a short gain.
Actually, a loss of 1, Dad. It'll be 2nd down and 11. You know, the St. Louis Cardinals have got 3 #1 draft picks at the linebacker spot, and none of them are playing exceptionally well.
Well, you know, again, it's with all the changes that have happened. I think that they have to get a little timing down now.
Dave Wilson. Headed dead to right, and John Tice let it go, but flags are down.
Got a flag on the play.
Nico Noga doing his impersonation of Marvin Belli as he was trying to argue with the official.
Not too successfully, we might add.
It'll be against St. Louis.
You know, in talking about the linebackers, as we mentioned before the play, you've got to get big plays out of these guys, and certainly that's got to be an area of concern
Pass
for Gene
interference,
Stallings.
number 45 defense, 1st down.
So Nico was arguing for his buddy, strong safety Leonard Smith. That's the 2nd time a flag has been called on pass interference on Leonard Smith.
And in the last play before this one, he could very well have been called for that one. You see those penalties are stacking up for New Orleans.
Now, St. Louis has been one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. 1st and 10. Dalton Hilliard out of LSU, a draft choice in the 2nd round.
You know, I just saw something briefly on that play that kind of typifies the way things have been going for the St. Louis Cardinals. That time, Charlie Baker took a swipe at John Tice while he was down on the field. Those kinds of things kind of key you into the fact that these guys are very frustrated that things just aren't clicking for them, and you know that pressure's on. As we talked about at the top of the game, this is a survival game now. Nico Noga is taking a ride out off the field. This game is a game of survival now. They've got to play well in order to be around next year, and everybody knows it.
They know they got to protect the job, you say.
That's right.
What does it feel like when you reach the end of your career, or you're thinking that you're end of your career?
Well, you always hope that you prepared yourself for it afterwards, and most guys, unfortunately, don't.
2nd and 7 for the Saints. Wilson. Good coverage. That was a great play by Eric Martin, or it would have been interception time for the Cardinals. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for NFL Report. Brent?
Ralph, Detroit has scored first against Philadelphia, and they did it on this 72-yard pass play. Joe Ferguson, who's starting for the Lions, his first touchdown pass of the season, goes to number 89, Jeff Chadwick. Lions 7, Eagles nothing. Back to Ralph.
Wilson is 1 out of 5, 18 yards. We said a moment ago, I guarantee you, Eric Martin made a guaranteed play to break up that interception.
He turned into a DB for that one.
3rd down, 7. It'll be punt time again. Reuben Mays was the intended receiver.
They're trying to run a screen pass apparently, but you know, I don't think they fooled anybody again. They are not giving good fakes on their play action passes and screen passes, and as a result, the defenses are not buying it. You've got to sell the run before you can drop back and throw the screen or the play action.
Traditionally, after the Saints play Los Angeles, they don't play well against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have beaten them here the last 3 times they have played them. Actually beaten them the last 3 times. This is Vi. He got nothing. Sikahama is the man who received it. A 37-yard punt. A 4-yard return. No score. St. Louis and New Orleans from here in Busch Stadium.
The stars are gonna twinkle and shine. How they'll shine this evening about 8:45. I know I won't be late, cause at 8:30 I'm gonna hurry there. I'll be waiting where
They say time is what you make it. At Citizen, we prefer making it beautiful.
about 8:45.
Citizen.
Looking out for number 1.
The Toyota 1-ton. No truck in its class holds more. It can even outcarry any mid-sized truck.
Looking out for number 1.
Who could ask for anything more?
Harry. Record your thoughts with the new Lanier Pocket Protege. One-button control makes it so easy to use, you can use it in the dark.
A special task force on the Western Expanse.
Harry. Lanier. We're easy to use.
Now, I just turned around for half a second, and boom, the whole thing went up.
Hottest day in the summer, and we end up loading that sucker twice.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you remember looking old man Donovan's face?
After that, I never thought he'd bring out that keg like he did.
That was good draft. Oh, I remember that beer.
When you're drinking new Miller Genuine Draft, it'll remind you of the best beer you ever had, because it is genuine draft. Cold filtered for real draft smoothness. Miller Genuine Draft. It's beer at its best.
How come Donovan never asked us back?
Wednesday on CBS, the Equalizer's framed for murdering a blind man.
Who wants you this bad?
My life is on the line here. I've been on the run for years.
It was November 2nd, 1969. Busch Stadium was the scene of one of the greatest passing confrontations of all time. Billy Kilmer of the Saints tossed 6 touchdown passes. But on the other side of the ball, Cardinals quarterback Charlie Johnson was not to be outdone, as he too threw 6 TDs. 12 touchdown passes in one game. It's still an NFL record as the Saints beat the Cardinals 51-42. The series record before you, and we'll have to hustle if they're going to get 12 touchdown passes in this ball game, Dan. We've not even seen a serious threat by either team to score through a little bit more than 1 quarter.
We just want to see him get past the 50-yard line right now.
Let's stop. It is complete to J.T. Smith. Big pass, first down, up near midfield. 20 yards on it.
I like it. You know, JT's been in the league 9 years, and he's still got a little move there. Now, he's obviously been watching the people down on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. And I watched this little shake he gives the secondary here. Nice little shake there. Oop, he's gone. Hey, 9 years, 44 passes already this year. It's a great thing to see J.T. Smith redeveloping into a quality receiver.
They signed him as a free agent in '85. Guess who? Staunton Mitchell.
I think Stump's getting a little frustrated now. He likes to see a little bit of green carpet in front of him when he's running the ball, and he's just not getting a nice clean hole in there when he's blasting through the line.
Again, it was Ricky Jackson who made that stop, and as we pointed out earlier, he has been the leading tackler on the year for New Orleans. That was the 7th carry for Stump, picked up 43 yards.
And in regard to Ricky Jackson, Jim Moore said that he is doing the small things now, that he's not only doing making the big plays, but also doing the small things that really set him off.
Stout. That was a great catch.
There goes my guy, J.T. Smith again.
Johnny Poe is the man who took him out of bounds. JT says he wants a big afternoon.
Hey, all you old men listening, stand up and cheer for this guy. 9 years and now he's starting to wake up and really come around as a receiver. He spent a lot of his career at Kansas City, and they kind of gave up on him. And it just goes to show that if you keep plugging at it and you keep trying, sooner or later something's going to work out for you, and it certainly has for J.T. Smith.
From all reports, he's playing better than any time in his career, including JT's own assessment. Defensive play by David Waymer, who broke up one last week also against L.A.
Hey, Dave Waymer is a gambler. He's going to take some chances every now and then. He comes up with big plays. He may get burned every now and then, but he's a guy that's going to give you the turnovers. Cliff Stout drops back, pump fakes. Now he's going to go long to Roy Green, his favorite receiver downfield. Watch the exceptional reach in by Dave Waymer. That's what's making him an exceptional defensive back this year.
This morning when I was up wandering around the hotel, the only guy up besides me happened to be Dave Waymer. He said, I'm a farmer from down in North Carolina. I always get up early and look around.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
You want to be up to date, and State Farm is there.
I'm State Farm agent Dave Stoffaker. When the Giulianis bought their first insurance from me, I told them my job didn't end there. It was just beginning. Our family insurance checkup helped keep everything up to date through 2 new cars, 3 new homes, and 3 new daughters. Now the Giulianis tell me they're expecting to be in for another checkup in a few months.
And like a good neighbor,
This time, it may be a boy.
State Farm is there.
We're MCI. Thousands of people pulling together to give you the best in the communications business. MCI competes with fiber optics, in place now, for superior call quality and data transmission. Our competition is good. We have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI, communications for the next 100 years.
2 teams hot on the playoff hunt. The Dallas Cowboys face off against the Washington Redskins, and the fierce rivalry is about to grow fiercer next Sunday on CBS Sports.
The NFC East has the Giants and Washington up at the top, but Philadelphia starting to slide a little bit.
And St. Louis, of course, right at the bottom.
The Central Division, you see it there, Chicago. They started their march last year, a week from this one. Maybe they'll do it next week. And the NFC West.
New Orleans number 4 with a bullet.
You mean that St. Louis should be number 5 or number 4 with an anchor? Stout. That is Novacek. He just checked into the ball game. He was just activated from the IR list after sustaining a broken thumb in preseason opener against New England.
Jay Novacek is one of those guys you call a tweener. He's between a tight end and a wide receiver. He's 6'4", good height for a tight end, but he's only 217. And that makes it a little difficult on the blocking side. The reason why he's in is because Doug Marsh got banged up on the last play.
And now he's back out. He can watch it after getting a reception, and Marsh goes back into the ball game.
Well, hey, you kind of like that. You get your uniform a little dirty. You fall down on the way back to the sideline to make it look like you got a little action.
Third down conversions. The Cards are 0 for 3 today. Make it 0 for 4.
Ricky Jackson did the half gainer when he was coming trying to get a hold of Cliff Stout, and I'm sure he's saying, hey Cliff, I'll pat you on the shoulder now, too bad, but the next time we'll try to knock your head off.
He was throwing to Stump Mitchell. Stump had caught 25 passes coming into the game, averaging 6.8 a reception.
He had to loft that one a little bit because, again, he saw Ricky Jackson coming right into his face, and Ricky did the smart thing by pulling up knowing that he was going to get there a little late.
This again is Greg Cater. He'd be the tiredest man in the stadium. He hummed that ball very well. It just, I thought that St. Louis was very slow in getting down there to try to down it after a 36-yard punt. Next Saturday, Dan, it's a college football doubleheader with Rose Bowl ramifications here on CBS. In the first game, one of the great rivalries is Ohio State hosts Michigan and Columbus, with the winner taking the Big Ten title and a trip to Pasadena.
And of course, with Michigan losing that big game yesterday to Minnesota, that makes that game even more important.
And look at the game number 2, the Pac-10 champion Arizona State team against interstate rival Arizona, and Arizona always causes them problems.
It'll be hot downtown.
Two great rivalries, two great games next Saturday. It begins at 11 Central here on CBS Sports. That's Kelvin Edwards who's into the game. He's out of Liberty Baptist, 4th-round draft choice.
I think he's one of the only players out of Liberty Baptist playing in the National Football League who has ever played in the National Football League.
That is only his 2nd reception of the year, and just like Novacek a minute ago, after catching one, he headed to the sideline.
Smart place to be now. You know you've established yourself.
Ask for a raise. Ruben Mays. 1st and 10 and extra yards. And let's go to New York with Brent Musburger for an NFL update. No score here.
All right, Ralph. Tough afternoon so far for the Bears. 12 minutes to go, and the Bears do not have a first down. An interception here by Reggie Wilkes of the Falcons. Mike Tomczak 0-4 with 1 intercept. But the Bear defense has just knocked Dave Archer, the Atlanta quarterback, out of the game. Back to Ralph.
The ball is on the 33-yard line. First down, 10. New Orleans with it. There's no score from here in Busch Stadium. Flags decorating the field. Mays gets about 2.
Ralph, what's happening is now, if you'll watch Buford Jordan, number 23, the fullback, as he shifts to one side or the other out of the eye, you'll see the St. Louis defensive line slant that way as soon as the ball is snapped. They're slanting to the power of the backfield.
I think Burford Jordan is an interesting story also. He, like many of these players on the Saints team, came out of the USFL.
And he was on that journeyman's
Offside,
team.
number 79 defense, still first down.
The Breakers, as the saying was, joined the Breakers and toured the country. They went to about 3 different cities in 3 years.
On the New Orleans team, there are 3 former USFL players who are starters, and of course their head coach, Jim Mora. That'll be first down as Leonard Smith stops Ruben.
Been hurting them like that. Nice drive though, 12 plays, 75 yards. And again, classic, 8 minutes now, closing in on 9.
That's the most that the Saints have given up in a long, long time. They finally get him to the 21. Coming through to make the big stop was Warren, number 73.
You're going to get a chance to see the kind of pressure that Cliff Stout is looking at here. Now watch on the left side of your screen, you're going to see Frank Warren come in, push him back a little bit. He can't go back the other way because here comes Haynes. There's the sack. You know, Frank Warren is a guy that they really depend on, he and Gathers, to come in and get those sacks because they're coming in fresh. You know, you hate to face that fresh rusher. You've been playing all the time. Suddenly this guy comes in, he's been sitting down for 10 minutes. You know you're in trouble.
Warren was a 3rd-round draft choice out of Auburn. Hey, they lost a heartbreaker last night to Georgia in the Southeastern Conference. 3rd and 20. Cliff Stout. It is out of bounds on the 5-yard line. It will not be enough for the first down. They had to get down to about the 1 for the first as David Weimer runs him out, but a flag was down after a 16-yard reception. The New Orleans people are saying it's going to be against St. Louis.
And if you're St. Louis, you almost expect it to be against you the way things have been going.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, illegal hit to the head, number 99 defense.
Well, they were just hoping it was going to be against St. Louis. So
hey, and there we go, another headshot.
We're sitting here with 2 minutes 39 seconds to go. The St. Louis fans are beginning to come alive as they bask in the sun of a great afternoon here along the Mississippi River. And we may see, with first down and goal from the 2, the first score against the New Orleans football team in 8 or 9 quarters. This will be the 9th quarter that they could get out without giving up a point if they last another 2:39. Mitchell. He has spiked it, but it may be to no avail at this particular point. A flag is down at the goal line.
Yeah, but he made his statement. He did the very best he could on that play. Second effort was the key to that one. Punched it back in after he got down.
Penalty was against the Saints, and it's going to be just shy of the touchdown. Gene Stallings standing over there.
Nice guy to have a conversation with Louis Sharp.
Luis was born in Havana, Cuba.
And you know, he likes to fight too. I was asking him if he was going to try for the heavyweight crown after he finished playing football.
Offside, number 27 defense. The penalty will be declined. Second down.
Second down, less than 1 foot to go for the touchdown.
Let's see if St. Louis is going to try to roll out that quarterback and pass to one side or the other, rolling out Cliff Stout.
There was
an excellent play, and I know it's something that they really like to do down on the goal line.
Second and goal. Let's see if the screen can go unbroken. Broken. St. Louis scores. Stump Mitchell carried the football.
Hey, we're going to get a chance to see Stump go airborne. Watch up at the top of your screen. You're going to see Stump take off from about 3 yards back and leap, get flipped into the end zone. Excellent play by Stump Mitchell. You know, this is now you see some personal dramas working out, Ralph. St. Louis is making a decision now. You know, we got screamed at halftime. Now let's go for it. Randy Clark was replaced early today. He's making a statement by playing as hard as he can because he knows this is his only opportunity.
John Lee is now 14 out of 17. The PAT department, and with 2:09 to go in the third quarter, it is St. Louis on the boards. They trail by 3 here in Busch Stadium.
My amigo Juan just came out from Mexico, so I'm introducing him to my American friend Larry and our favorite beer, Miller Lite.
Por favor. Juan, mi Miller Lite de gusto porque it tastes muy bueno.
Larry.
Lite has mimosa calories and no gusto filiapo. El comprende?
No, not really.
For mucho great taste, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Does your friend speak any English?
You see, today is tomorrow in Japan. So when you come for car tomorrow, it will be today.
Life takes a time. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Take it to Midas.
At Midas, we can replace mufflers, brake shocks, or struts on most foreign cars, and we won't take all day to do it. Time is money.
Take it to Midas.
If I'd wanted it tomorrow, old chap, I wouldn't be here today.
Take it to someone you trust.
I am losing control. I have a TV remote, a cable remote, a VCR remote. Doesn't anybody make a TV with one remote control for everything?
Sure. Magnavox. This one comes with the universal remote.
It controls the Magnavox TV and just about every brand of wireless, VCR, and cable.
A Magnavox controls Sony.
And Zenith, and RCA, and Panasonic, and...
I'll take the Magnavox, and you can take these.
The universal remote. It's 3 controls in one. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
The battle for the conference crown. The Wolverines of Michigan, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. The Big Ten collision of the year kicks off a doubleheader next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Stump Mitchell broke the New Orleans 8-quarter scoring dry spell as he just let it score for St. Louis, and the scoring drive took 17 plays, 86 yards, 9:38.
Now that's classic St. Louis Cardinal football. Long drive, a lot of plays, and use up the clock.
Do you believe in giving the player the oxygen? Does it really help him when he...
Well, I think he was getting oxygen because he jumped up so high on that touchdown.
This is John Lee. Mel Gray, number 37. At the 10. Mel Gray this year has averaged over 30 yards per kickoff return, and he returned 101 yards for a TD. That's when he returned 30 yards, and Rick DiBernardo makes a stop on him at about the 40-yard line. 2 minutes to go. Third quarter of play. It is 10-7 with the Saints leading over the Cardinals.
30-yard return.
It began as a new way of thinking about the relationship between the automobile and the road. It evolved into an automotive suspension system like none before. The Mercedes-Benz Multi-Link Independent Rear Suspension System. 5 individual links per wheel precisely interacting to achieve handling stability as never before. Helping to make the 300 class the most technologically advanced automobiles in Mercedes-Benz history.
Gee, Da Vinci, you look wasted.
I've got to present the helicopter, the spiral staircase, and the parachute by 10 o'clock. I'll never get it together.
Lenny, relax. We'll make it look great with this Xerox desktop publisher. The workstation lets you create graphics and mix them with words. Then the laser printer prints everything out laser perfect.
Eat your heart out, Gutenberg.
Desktop publishing from Team Xerox. It brings out the genius in you.
What was that?
The boogeyman from the Black Lagoon.
There's something out there.
Don't worry, as long as the lights are on, we're fine.
What do we do now?
Run for your life!
It's time to change your light bulb. Philips Longer Life Square bulbs last 33% longer than ordinary round bulbs.
2 teams hot on the playoff hunt. The Dallas Cowboys face off against the Washington Redskins, and the fierce rivalry is about to grow fiercer next Sunday on CBS Sports.
We welcome you back to Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, where the St. Louis Cardinals have just scored, and they're trailing New Orleans now 10-7. They made a great score, but look what happens, Dan.
You know, every time they do something good, they give up something back to the other team. Here, they give Mel Gray the nice return on the kickoff, and he takes it back to the 40-yard line, puts the Saints in excellent field position to start this drive.
They take it right on the 40. It'll be first down 10 there. We have 2 minutes to go. In the third quarter of play, it was 10-0 at the half, with New Orleans leading. David Wilson has gone the distance for the Saints, a quarterback. That is Mays. What a job Mays has done today. He has been the workhorse of this team as he gets about 3 yards.
Ralph, one of the things that Ruben is doing now that he wasn't doing a couple of weeks ago when I saw him was he is now letting those linemen, the pulling guards, like that time Chuck Kaminsky, number 66, pull out and make the block at the corner for him, and then he times his break into the line of scrimmage. It's something he said he had to learn to do because, number one, he wasn't very familiar with coming out of the I formation.
A minute and a half to go. Third. New Orleans really taking a lot of time with Wilson behind center. That'll make it third down and 6. That ball was dropped, I think, even before the defender got there.
Well, Hobie Brenner is playing with a cast on his hand, and that's got to make it very difficult for him to catch the football.
Hobie Brenner, John Tice, along with Mike Jones, have been in and out of that lineup today at the tight end spot for for New Orleans. Actually, of course, Jones being the wide receiver, Tyson Brenner being the tight ends. 3rd and 6. It was recovered by New Orleans.
And it's a good thing because his arm was still in the back motion. He hadn't started forward when the ball was stripped from him.
Looked like Bill Kontz out of Penn State. 4-year veteran came up with it. Al Baker says, hey, I'll get him started. So old number 60 out of Colorado State does a little boogie of his own to get the crowd fired up.
You know, Al really hasn't dominated down here for St. Louis like he did when he was with the Detroit Lions. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he's now rushing out of a 3-man line instead of a 4-man line in the over and under.
Ryan Hansen. Sakahima will be the man who attempts to return it for the Cardinals. Just fake to rush. Vi will have his first opportunity.
The clock has not moved, Ralph. The clock is still at 35 seconds. I don't know what the problem is. Certainly, though, the officials down on the field are keeping proper time, but the stadium clock did not move on that play.
That was a 48-yard punt, a 9-yard return by Vi Sakahima. And it comes with only 35 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter of play in a 10-7 game.
Hey,
the Mercedes-Benz Driving Simulator, a laboratory that moves. Computerized hydraulics producing realistic driving forces. Computerized projectors creating a lifelike driving world. Allowing engineers to analyze the responses of ordinary drivers in extraordinary moments. Duplicating any driving situation in total safety. Mercedes-Benz continues to learn the secrets of automotive science. And the automotive world continues to learn from Mercedes-Benz.
When I played football, they called me a troublemaker. But really, I'm just a nice guy who likes to watch a game with a Miller Lite. I see you're drinking light too.
Yeah, it tastes great.
I agree. But he drinks it because it's less filling.
Tastes great.
Did you hear that?
It's less filling.
Pretty strong words.
It tastes great. Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
There's no argument. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
Is that a light beer you're drinking?
Yeah, it tastes great.
I agree, but that's not what he said.
Who has transformed video cameras, making them more compact, simpler, more colorful, more fun? Who? RCA, with the new Pro Wonder camcorder, the camera and recorder that uses standard VHS cassettes plus solid-state technology for brighter, more colorful memories. Pro Wonder. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
This is Ralph Hacker with Dan Jiggets. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, where Dan Jiggets proved to be better than John Cameron Swayze, as he pointed out the fact that there were 35 seconds. He did not tick off. They have now changed it to 18. Thank you, Mr. Swayze.
Merlin, the musician, came in and waved his magic wand.
Somebody wound the watch. His first down at 10 for the 23. The Cards are in red. Stop Mitchell to the 29-yard line. He has to get to the 33 for the first down. Looks like the clock will go down with a 10-7 score. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with a score: New Orleans 10, St. Louis 7. We now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Lite. Proud sponsor of NFL Lineman of the Year. There's only one light beer, Miller Lite. And by Subaru and the Subaru XT, the Sport Magazine Super Bowl MVP Award.
The shadows from the west side of Busch Stadium start to protrude out of the field as those of us on this near side sitting in 30-degree temperature, and on the other side basking in the sun behind Coach Jim Mora. The Saints team basking in sunlight at this particular point in probably 55 degrees. St. Louis with the ball. Stuff Mitchell. Second effort does not get the first down. He only gets out to the 31-yard line. He has to get to the 33. We expected that St. Louis would go upstairs more today than they have done.
Well, either go upstairs for maybe the 15-yard pattern or start throwing some play-action passes because your running game has been going well for you. Now let's see how those linebackers are going to react to some play action. Try to bring them up into the line of scrimmage, react into the fake, and then go downfield to one of your receivers or one of your running backs.
And one of the St. Louis players is down as we check the scores from this afternoon. Some updates. Minnesota over the Giants. Good game there going on. Houston still trailing Pittsburgh. Cincinnati starting to catch fire again. Green Bay still holding down Tampa.
And interesting, Green Bay plays Chicago next week right here on CBS.
Right, look at Buffalo upsetting Miami at this point of the third quarter of play. Chicago has now gone ahead of Atlanta in the third quarter. They trail for an awful long time this afternoon. A 44-yard field goal, by the way, by Butler with 7:09 to go in the third quarter of play gave Chicago that lead of 13-10. Little Puma's getting a workout.
You hate to see a player, laid out on the field for this long, and they're taking his shoe off, which is an indication that maybe there's something wrong with the ankle. Generally, if it's just a sprain, they'll leave the shoe on and allow the shoe to contain the ankle so it won't swell quite as much.
Well, next Saturday, Dan, it's a college football doubleheader with Rose Bowl ramifications on the line here on CBS Sports. In the first game, Game 1. It's the great rivalry as Ohio State will be hosting Michigan up in Columbus, with the winner taking the Big Ten title and all those folks going out to California, to Pasadena in the Rose Bowl. Then in Game 2, it's the Pac-10 champion Arizona State up against interstate rival Arizona. Two great rivalries, two great games next Saturday at 11 Central right here on CBS Sports. They're working on that left ankle. And let's look at it and see what is happening as Lance Smith, number 61.
Watch on the right side of your screen, Lance Smith right there. Somebody's going to fall on that ankle, no doubt. There it is. There's a step down now, right on the ankle, twisted around, and the knee, and he goes down. Tootie Robbins, the backup offensive tackle, now has to enter the game because it does not appear that Lance Smith is going to get up from this one and walk away.
And Tootie's been shaken up. Tootie has not played in a long time.
He's had some injuries this year, and he came in late into training camp, had some problems with the contract, and then never did really get in the kind of playing condition that you'd like for him to be in.
Miami starting to come back now in Buffalo, 21-20, just as we reported to you a minute ago. And Buffalo was upsetting them, and now the Giants kicking 4 field goals today to stay in range of Minnesota at this moment. They had a tough time when they played at St. Louis right here and didn't win the ball game for the last 3.5 minutes. Lance Smith, number 61. He's out of Louisiana State.
Look at the size of Lance's ankle right now. You can see it's they've got some padding on it, but it's been swelling already. That's one of the worst fears of offensive linemen. You can see the brace on his knee there. If you look just right down the middle of your screen, they wear those to try to protect those lateral injuries. There's really nothing you can do about that as an offensive lineman, though, when you get run over from behind. You just have to hope that your running backs kind of shy away from falling into the back of your legs, but you're totally unprotected.
They play him at tackle, but they make no bones about it. They think he's more suited to be a guard.
And, he's been a fine player for them, but he's just undersized at the position. You'd like to see, the 6'5", 6'6", 290 player at tackle.
What was your weight when you played?
It was 280, and unfortunately it's not still the same.
Just wanted to see if you'd been going out to Weight Watchers or something.
32-31.
This is stopped. He didn't get it. They stopped him, did they not? Or did he? He may have got it.
You know, when you think back to what we saw at practice the other day in Cliff rolling out and keeping the ball and not being afraid to run it just like he's a running back, certainly gives you an indication that they feel strongly enough about his mobility and his running ability to allow him the opportunity to run the ball a few times.
What has happened? They did not bring Tootie Robbins into the game as you and I were talking. What they have done is set Randy Clark over to play the right tackle spot, move Gene Chilton up to play the center for St. Louis.
Well, Randy's the kind of player, the size player that you can play almost anywhere along the offensive line.
Mitchell, you felt that one to the press box. You may have felt it in New Orleans. Mills and Tolles in to make the stop.
You know, Sam Mills is such an interesting player. You know, that low to the ground, 5'9". You're going to see him. He's the only guy on the field who can get up underneath Stump Mitchell. Now you're going to see him come shooting straight out of the right side of your screen, right there to make the stop. Excellent play by Sam Mills.
Oh, and for the first time today, Stump Mitchell has to come out of the game. He's hearing the bells from the chapel at the Citadel. He was hit so hard. 19 carries, 79 yards for Stump. 1 TD. That's the only TD that St. Louis has picked up today. We're in the fourth quarter, 13-15 to go, 10-7. St. Louis trails New Orleans. By Sakahimas in the backfield. Getting back to make this stop and bring down is Warren. That's the second time that this man out of Auburn has gotten to Cliff Stout.
You know, Frank Warren, again, his specialty is rushing the passer, and I think he's going against Randy Clark here on this play. Beats Randy with the shoulder pull. You see him there getting the angle on Randy and going straight to the quarterback. A tough thing for anybody to do is come in to play offensive tackle and stop those kinds of moves when the other guy who he's rushing against you is used to playing the position.
That'll make it third down 11 with 13:06 to go. Quarterback sacks right before you. Keep in mind that New Orleans had not allowed a quarterback sack in 5 ball games coming in here.
Well, you got to feel for Randy Clark. You know, you're switching positions and you haven't been practicing at the position where you've been put at. It's a very difficult situation to be placed in. He's doing the best he can, I'm sure.
From the shotgun. Interception. As Weimer has just come up with his 6th interception of the year. He has 2 more. Make that Watley ending up with the interception.
You're going to get a chance to see on the replay Cliff Stout getting a lot of pressure from outside. Now watch him. He's dropping back. He's already in the shotgun. Now watch the outside pressure coming in. He can feel that pressure coming behind him. Releases the ball a little bit too early and does not get the ball to Roy Green. Comes back the other way. A nice interception. And a nice run back, by the way.
Frank Watlett out of Kansas.
You know, Frank was telling us the other day, he was talking about how he just likes to stick people. You can see that little twinkle in his eye. You know that he's just a little bit on the edge.
That's Mays. He's right back to the line and nothing else. Tell me about the injury that Watlett had that almost kept him out of the NFL.
Well, he had a shoulder injury. I guess he'd torn the rotator cuff throwing the javelin. And he'd done it early on in his career, maybe even in high school. He said he may have gone back that far. And it just kind of repaired itself. He didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. As it turns out, when he came to the Saints, they diagnosed the injury and wouldn't sign him until he gave him a release.
So his father called up and said, hey, we'll sign any release to get into play. John Williams, by the way, is out in New Orleans. He has a fractured bone in his finger. Mays a gain of 2. Eric Martin is also out. He has a sprained ankle, but we are told we may see Eric Martin back. He is actually in on that last play.
You can see on this play that even though St. Louis is having problems, they are not giving anything away. Now watch Ruben Mays there. Pushed outside when he didn't want to be by Charlie Baker. Now watch the sticks coming in here. Cedric Mack gets pushed out of the way. Nico Noga's in on the tackle. Everybody's coming in and trying to make that play. They're not giving up on themselves.
A cold day usually causes a lot of injuries. Lance Smith, you saw a moment ago with an ankle. Stump Mitchell of St. Louis, doubtful now with a knee. It'll be first down at the 16-yard line. Eric Martin coming up with it. E.J. Jr. making the stop.
Watch right down the middle of your screen. You're going to see Eric Martin come across on a cut-across pattern here. Unloaded by Dave Wilson. Nice play, perfect timing. Noga couldn't get over in front of it in time to make the block.
The first catch by Martin that gets him 18 yards. Junior, as we said, made the stop. He's out of Alabama, one of 3 first-round draft choice for the St. Louis people who play linebacker. Tell you somebody they're not pleased with. They're not pleased at all with Anthony Bell and the way he's played. They don't think he was a #1 draft choice at all.
There's a big question was drafted is whether or not he was going to produce early, and he certainly hasn't so far.
Ruben Mays getting to the outside, but he didn't get far enough out as Leonard Smith gets it.
You know, Leonard Smith has got to be careful. He's still making tackles up around the head and the neck. That's a dangerous area to be in, particularly when you're going in and you got your back against the goal line. Those are foolish plays to make. Just put the shoulder in and knock the guy out of bounds. You don't have to go to the head.
The thing you can say about Leonard Smith is he is aggressive, capital all the way along.
That is very true, but too aggressive down in this area can really cost you by allowing the other team to get the touchdown.
It'll be second
because
down
of a penalty.
2nd and 10, 10:37 to go. New Orleans trying to quill a defense. St. Louis has done pretty good for them. This is Mays. Well, they have to get a bunch. Finally, Mack comes in to help out.
New Orleans tried to take a page out of St. Louis's book and run the counter play from the backside. Just did not work for them there. Stan Brock was a little slow coming across and pulling out.
Jim Mora saying, can we do it? We're down at the 11. It'll be 3rd down at 5. Ruben Mays has now carried 20 times for 90 yards on the day. And St. Louis gets a couple of extra backs in there. 3rd and 5. Looking. It was incomplete. One official conferred with the other, and he says no catch. He was out of bounds.
I'm sure Gene Goodlow, number 88, is going to refute that. He felt that he was in. It was the kind of play where both of the officials are waiting for the other guy to make the call. Here's a chance to look at it. Now look on the left side of your screen, down on the bottom. Does he have both feet in, or doesn't he? One, and he's pushed out.
No doubt about it. I mean, he had a 4-yard stride going there.
But was he pushed out by the defensive back? And I'm sure that's what they're arguing about. He was in the process of coming down, getting the other foot in bounds.
Eugene Goodlow, born here in St. Louis, actually over in East St. Louis. Went to school over there. And now Anderson will come in to attempt a field goal. It'll be a 28-yard attempt. He's 1 of 1 today. As we said earlier, he's the #1 field goal kicker in the NFC, hitting better than 84% of them. It's automatic when your name is Morton Anderson. That makes it 13-7. The Saints lead over top of the Cardinals from here in St. Louis with 9:58 to go.
If your present car isn't giving you the traction you need, why not look into the #1 4-wheel drive car in America at your Subaru dealer? Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Here comes Purolator Courier.
Beep, beep.
There goes Purolator Courier. The Roadrunner works for Purolator Courier. We run rings around the Coyote Courier.
Beep, beep.
Sending something from city to city? Never fear. Use Purolator Near. Got a cross-country rush? Be a star. Use Purolator Far. For overnight delivery, call the Roadrunner at Purolator Courier. Dial 1-800-BEEP-BEEP. Your package is just a beep-beep away.
Beep, beep.
Man, skiing sure is fun. You run into lots of nice people out there.
Yeah, we ran into Corky yesterday.
That's for sure.
And afterwards, there's nothing like a warm fire.
Well, I'll see.
And a cold Miller Lite. Light really tastes great.
And it's less filling. And us hot doggers don't like to get filled up. Speaking of hot dogs, where's Euchre?
Uke!
Great seats, hey, buddy! Hey, where are all the guys? They're missing all the fun!
For great taste, there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
You're looking in to the St. Louis or to the New Orleans bench, a ball club that has one of its best records ever going, and they're trying to put together their first ever winning season down in the Crescent City.
And I think they believe now that they can do it. Whereas you look at St. Louis, they're wondering where things are going to stop. They're 2-8 now. When are they going to stop this landslide that they've been on and turn things around and start winning some ball games?
This is the 4th time that New Orleans has had a 5-5 record after 10 ball games. The best ever they had was in 1983 after 10, when they were 6-4, and they finished up then 8-8. Sakahima will take it at the 6. As he returns to the 24. That was Del Rio. Jack Del Rio has made 3 stops today on Sakahima as he's tried to return that kickoff.
And Ralph, if you remember when we were talking to Jim Moore, he mentioned all those linebackers that he has backing up Swilling and Del Rio as well, guys who he feels that make exceptional plays on special teams every time out.
Neil Lomax still on the sideline for the second ball game. Cliff Stout in running the club for the St. Louis Cardinals. And I think he's got something accomplished this afternoon.
You know, every game he seems to be growing a little bit with the offense, and it's very difficult when you come in mid-season and try to become the starting quarterback, but he's been doing a decent job of it.
Out to the 32.
You wonder at times, though, when a situation like this develops. It happened down in Dallas, and Gene Stallings was there, and he saw that situation developing. Neil Lomax now is trying to develop some confidence, understanding of what's happening. There you see him right behind Gene Stallings in the middle of your screen. What's going to happen to Neil Lomax's head? I mean, is it the kind of thing where it destroys his confidence, or is it the kind of thing where he can sit back, relax, and learn a little bit from it, and then come back and play strong in the second half of the season?
They said they wanted Neil to stay here this year and work out. He said he would if there were a lot of players who stayed enough to make it worth his while. Cliff Stout, first day in town, bought a house. A reverse. End around as they give it to Roy Green. We haven't heard a lot out of Roy today, and it doesn't net him much.
And I think this reverse here, you could take it back to the drawing board. Fake there to stump Mitchell, handoff. Roy just doesn't have anywhere to go. There's no blocking up front. The block was missed there by Doug Marsh, and there's too many white shirts on the other side of the line of scrimmage to make any yardage.
Roy Green out of Henderson State.
3rd and 6 at the 28.
John Dunball to the ball game. Number 95 over at one end. Dunball, a rookie out of Kentucky. He's tackled. He played tackle there. Big defensive play by Johnny Poe.
I think everybody in the house except the New Orleans Saints felt that Johnny reached over too early. He got a break on that one.
You make your choice. Did he or did he not?
Right on the left side of the screen. Watch him now as he reaches over and the ball sails by. Was he there or wasn't he? I don't know. The officials are a little bit closer to that one, and we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
But Johnny Poe gets credit for another pass defense. He's done a whale of a job on that particular part of the game this afternoon.
You know, you heard of guys maxing out, using everything they've got. Johnny Poe is one of those guys.
They've maxed the effort out of Cater this afternoon. That's his 6th punt. It is out at about after a 36-yard punt at about the 40-yard line. Johnny Poe, the man who made the stop, is also the man who returned that with time out on the field. 8:13 to go from here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis.
We're not a company.
But we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it.
We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you.
As your ability for leadership grows, so will you.
Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence.
Become a person with a future.
We're not a company.
We're your country.
We're the Marines.
The Army.
The Navy.
The Air Force.
We're the armed forces.
It's a great place to start.
It's your money, son. But if you want my advice, buy another Subaru.
Sure, Dad.
I thought we agreed you'd buy a Subaru.
But, Dad, I did.
The Subaru XT, the Sport Magazine Super Bowl MVP Award.
Nowadays, when it comes to telecommunications, there's a great deal of confusion. With so many different products and services available, it's a real problem knowing what's just right for your company. Well, we have a way to end that confusion and solve those problems. We can help custom tailor an entire telecommunications system to your company's exact needs. No. GTE.
The battle for the conference crown. The Wolverines of Michigan, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. The Big Ten collision of the year kicks off a doubleheader next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Ralph Hacker with Dan Jiggets in a 13-7 game. New Orleans leads over St. Louis, 8:13 to go. Ruben Mays has the best yard per carry average of anybody in the NFL.
90 yards rushing today. Flag on the play. Ruben Mays is one of those rookies that you kind of can predict that he's going to rush for over 1,000 yards in his rookie season. He's done that well so far.
The flag was against New Orleans. By the way, a 25-yard pass from Phil Simms to Bobby Johnson. The Giants lead now over Minnesota with 9:30 to go, 19-13.
Yeah, but you know where the Vikings are. They like to wait until the last minute and do it.
Illegal motion offense. They were not set a second prior to the snap. Still first down.
That is the 9th penalty against New Orleans. That's for 60 yards. There's the score we talked about. The Giants over Minnesota. Detroit over Philadelphia. Not much scoring in that one.
Pittsburgh,
Houston again.
Cincinnati coming back strong after last week, and Green Bay coming out of nowhere. And you'll see them right here on CBS next week against the Chicago Bears.
Hey, they whooping Tampa. That's what they're doing. There he goes. He's got his 100 and plus now as he gets to the 45.
I really like this guy, Ralph. The last game I did for the Saints, I predicted that this guy was going to be a star in the National Football League. It's not difficult to predict, though. You watch the way he runs the football. Going to take the handoff from Dave Wilson and just take it straight up the field. Now, little bit outside, breaking it outside off tackle, cuts back up the field, and makes good, strong yardage. He has good vision, Ralph, when he comes through the line. You know, he sees the field very well and is able to make his cut according to what he's getting in terms of offensive blocking.
Ruben Mays, all the folks around the NFL are going to know your name. 21 carries, 108 yards, 18 picked up on that one.
All the way from Saskatchewan. High formation.
Give Ruben a break as they hand off up the middle for a short gain.
You know, again, this could go back to the key that we picked up on early on in the first quarter, and that is when Buford Jordan was moved to one side or the other, you saw the defensive line slanting. Now they put him in the power eye, and there's nothing that they can do. They have to make an even read.
They
can't slant to one side or the other.
Coming into the ball game, Jordan had carried for 144 yards and 48 carries, one TD.
Well, he's the kind of guy who's real consistent. You know, Jim Moore was talking about him. He had a lot of positive things to say about him. Played very well in the USFL and has done the same for Jim Moore down in New Orleans.
Two tight ends in now, Tyson Brenner. Ruben Mays. Flags just went down. All New Orleans is trying to do now is just run the clock down some, killing some of it with 6:28 to go.
Yeah, they figure if they can melt the clock a little bit and get it down under about 2 minutes, they're going to be in great shape with another score added on.
But a holding call against New Orleans. Anthony Bell in on the sack.
Strangely enough, that holding call came pretty late too, Ralph. It was almost after the play was over that you saw the flag.
First time we have seen Bell this afternoon. He's been a long time over in the shade.
Holding, number 85 offense, still second down.
6:28 to go in this game. Look at this one, Dan. 24-20, Miami's trailing Buffalo in the fourth quarter.
And no change in the Chicago game, really. 13-10 Chicago.
Again, next week, Chicago, Green Bay. It was a year ago next week that Chicago started its march.
And it didn't stop until it got to New Orleans.
6:09, second down and 10. Dave Wilson. This is Dalton Hilliard. 104 rushes coming into the game. Short yardage there to about the 40.
You know what New Orleans is trying to do is, number one, of course, they're trying to use up the clock, but they're also attempting to surprise St. Louis a little bit. That situation you expect maybe a short pass. You know, you fake back, you hand off on the draw play and let them take it up the middle.
We talked about how small Mills was on the defensive side. Look at Hilliard. He's 5'8", 204 pounds. Well, he was a scamper when he played for LSU.
And you know, the surprising thing about the way the Saints use him is they use him inside.
Third down conversion just before you. It's 3rd and 5 now. This is Ruben Mays. He converts it. Left to watch him run. Give it to Ruben and let him go.
These are the other dimensions. Now watch. Takes the ball, gets outside quick. that establishes the corner very quickly there. Bob Clasby has a hand on him. That's another dimension, breaking away in the tackles. Enough balance to stay up and get the extra yardage, and finally is pushed out of bounds by 57, Nico Noga.
23 yards on that one. You see him, 123. Ruben Mays alone is beating St. Louis on the ground at this moment. 5:18 to go.
You see Ruben going off his tap in his helmet. I think he's got to get a strap fix or something.
Dalton Hilliard comes in to replace him at the running back spot. They got Jordan back in. This is Hilliard. Leonard Smith on the stop, number 45.
Leonard Smith finally decided to tackle a little bit lower that time.
They go to the outside, and Leonard chases him. He's going to get him high.
That's it. You know, something else that is important to watch on this drive is the fact that St. Louis's defense has been on the field quite a bit today, and that's something that you hate to see happen to you, particularly when you're not winning. If your defense has to stay on the field, it means your offense is not doing its job by holding the ball at least long enough to let these guys get a breather every now and then. And of course, now they can't stop them. You know, they just keep driving down the field on you and burning up the clock.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 57 defense, first down.
Well, Nico Noga, who never smiles, so it says he will not smile until they win. Look at that.
I tell you what, the way he looks, if I were an official, I wouldn't get real close.
How would you like to be in Hawaii and be walking up one of those mountains looking for the banana farm that his family operates and run into Nico on a bad day?
No thanks.
Not for all the bananas on that island. That moves it inside. The 14. Nico says, when things start happening out there, sometimes I just go crazy.
Gene Stallings is wishing that he wouldn't have gone crazy in that play.
And he obviously did. David Wilson trying to get another score on the board. That's Burford Jordan.
Jordan, the ball carrier. Tackle by Galloway.
Nothing really special now, you know, just keep punching it up in there. Nice, safe plays. You don't want to lose the ball, and you want to get close enough so you can either get the field goal or score the touchdown, but enough to put some points on the board and put you more than one touchdown away.
Jim Mora got to be feeling decently well about his club now. They're moving with 4:23 to go. They lead in the game, 13-7. Of course, a touchdown and an extra point will beat you. But his team has moved the ball with great control this trip down the field. Two tight ends. And Ruben Mays. That's all you got. Flags just went down. The holding call is going to be against New Orleans. That will not a flag. Well, it was all you needed until somebody decided to hold, and they had to hold after Ruben had broken the play.
Well, you know, again, we talked about it earlier, how you get holding penalties on running plays with that movement along the defensive line.
Holding, number 85 offense, still second down.
Hey, he can't hold. He's got a cast on his hand.
Well, he was trying to protect the other arm. What he was trying to do. That's Hobie Brenner out of Southern Cal, a 6-year man.
But what happens many times, as we were saying earlier, is when you're blocking on a running play and your man starts to slip away from you, you tend to grab that jersey, and if you put your arm outside the framework of his body, the officials see that on the line of scrimmage, and right away the flag is coming out.
4:01 left. 2nd and 17 for the Saints. Right up the middle. That's what set it up a few minutes ago when Ruben was able to take the next one through for the touchdowns. Ruben Mays carries again. It's been Mays, Mays, Mays. So far, what both coaches had told us yesterday has come true. It's give it to Mays if you're New Orleans, and give it to Stump if you're St. Louis.
And the unfortunate thing for St. Louis is that Stump just hasn't had the productive day that Ruben has, and also defensively they have not been able to stop the New Orleans Saints offense when they wanted to.
Minnesota's come back to go over top of the Giants now, 20-19.
Well, it's not over yet. They still like to wait until the last couple of minutes. They'll score another time before the game is over.
By the way, Tommy Kramer's off now with a jammed thumb. Here goes Ruben again. He gets inside the 15. That was the 9th play coming up in this drive. All have been on the ground. in the Detroit-Philadelphia ball game. 11:52 to go. A 28-yard field goal has sent Philadelphia out on top of Detroit, 8-7. And now Morton Anderson, the man with a golden leg, comes into the game.
And at the same time, you see that clock is ticking away, and the time is ticking away on St. Louis.
And New Orleans has a new look on the road this year. They're wearing gold pants and white jerseys. In past years, they've worn black pants and white jerseys on the road. 30-yard attempt. As they say in the round ball sport, you can write it down. And you can write it down, as the Saints have gone ahead of the Cardinals by a score of 16-7 in the fourth quarter play.
The Winning Edge, brought to you by Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler. The winning edge can result from a wrinkle, an innovation that gives an offense a unique advantage. The Big Ben play utilizes multiple wide receivers and lots of luck to score when it seems least likely. By flooding a zone, a tipped pass can mean a game-winning touchdown. Developed by the Falcons, this innovation has been adopted by the rest of the NFL to give offenses the winning edge.
Hey, me fellas, look here. Seagulls, golden wine cooler. Seagulls, golden wine cooler. It's wet and it's dry. Golden wine cooler. My, 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 my. Golden wine cooler. Me and the boys, love, love, love all the time. Golden wine cooler. It's wet and it's dry. Golden wine cooler.
Well, on our way back to the New Orleans conclusion, we have some sad news today about a great old quarterback. Bobby Lane, the Hall of Famer who led the Detroit Lions to 3 NFL titles in the 50s, is reported to be in critical condition this afternoon. Officials at Methodist Hospital in Lubbock, Texas, say that Lane, 59, underwent surgery yesterday to stop hemorrhaging in his lower esophagus. Now, a reminder that next Sunday here on CBS, we will have the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern Time. That will be followed by the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears, 11:30 Central Time, of course. Then in the South, the New Orleans Saints against the Los Angeles Rams, or the Dallas Cowboys against Washington. That is 3 p.m. Central Time. Now let's send you back to Ralph Hacker.
Three field goals by Morton Anderson and a pass from Wilson to Jones. And we've got a 16-7 ball game. The Saints lead over top of the Cardinals with 2 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the fourth and final frame. As Morton Anderson will try to kick another one. Sakahima is back to return it, number 36.
And you can believe Morton Anderson wants to get this one out of the end zone. No run back means starting on the 20-yard line for St. Louis.
Gene Stallings has called the officials over and talking to him, something he says he doesn't like to do. I just don't like officials. I don't like to talk to them. I don't like to be around them. I don't like to write to them. I won't even call the league office anymore. I won't even write against them because they're tired of hearing from me up there. And they found out it doesn't do me personally any good.
Well, you know, every time you come in, you're a new head coach, they're going to make you pay your dues. They're going to give you the kinds of calls that you don't like. Your first season, then you establish yourself, then they give you a couple of breaks, I think. But your first season, you're going to catch it. I know the same thing happened to Mike Ditka up in Chicago.
Bob Rice is the man he was bending the ear of there, number 80.
It's Jim Moore. He's got to be very pleased with the way his team has played today. They've done everything he's asked them to. They didn't get the shutout, but they're as close to it as you can get with only 7 points.
Again, St. Louis trying to come up with the best record they have ever had, trying to make the playoffs. And they're on the march to do it right now. Morton Anderson got his all into that one. Sakahima. They put the all into him. It is Vernon Johnson makes a stop just as he crossed the 15. Let's look at the NFC West standings, Dan. Look what's happening.
You know, the Rams haven't been playing as well as they'd like. They're 7-3. They're at the top of the division. San Francisco 6-3-1. Again, they've slipped a little bit, but they came back last week against St. Louis. Atlanta losing today to Chicago could move New Orleans up in the standings in that division.
Indeed, could have a tie at that particular spot. San Francisco plays Monday night. And, of course, New Orleans plays L.A. next Sunday out on the coast.
Chance to really take a step up. Now you beat somebody in the division as well.
This is Cliff Stout. He's gone the distance at the QB spot. Almost intercepted as he tried to go to the middle. Bruce Clark thought he had it. Wouldn't that have been something?
Defensive lineman's nightmare. You get hit by the ball and you still don't catch it.
If he had caught it, what would he have said?
Chances are he'd have run the wrong way. You know how defensive linemen are. No, Bruce is a pretty sharp guy. He's just a little mad at himself now. He's saying, hey, I could have had 6. And then done the dance in the end zone.
Wrong way, Corrigan. 2:14 left of the game. Now, Neil Lomax is on the sideline warming up for a few minutes now. We do not see him as we glance along the St. Louis side. Incomplete to Earl Farrell. Keep in mind, Stump Mitchell has an injured knee, but he's still in the ball game.
This is the most difficult time for a quarterback, and particularly, Neil knows what kind of a situation Cliff Stout is in right now. You've got to throw the ball every down. They put themselves in this position, though, because when we talked about earlier, wouldn't you be running some play-action passes and maybe trying to throw the ball downfield when you're only 6 points behind? Now it's almost too late to do it. You've got to sit back every down and throw the ball. The defensive linemen just pin their ears back and come after you.
Stout is 12 of 26 for 117 yards today and 2 interceptions. He lateraled it off to Stump Mitchell. And they get the first down.
You can see Stan Brock, number 67, on the sideline saying, can he do that?
Now the flag went down. They say illegal forward pass.
Stump's trying to talk him into it, but I don't think it's going to work.
Well, it was a great try. I mean, what the heck? What do you got to lose? You've gone out here 3rd down and 10. You're within a yard of making it.
Say, let it out.
Say, give me a break, man. It's been 15 months since I put on the pads and gone out here and actually got into something. Lacking one ball game.
Illegal forward pass, number 18 offense, 5-yard penalty. Also loss of down, 4th down.
So it'll be 4th down. 1:58 seconds to go. 1:58 on the clock. It is 16-7. New Orleans leads over the Cardinals from here at Busch Stadium.
Official timeout.
Most PCs aren't used. These aren't doing all they can. Neither is your office. Lanier, we're easy to use.
Dear McDonald's, my mother makes a hamburger just like your McDLT with cheese, onions, pickles, mustard, ketchup, mayo, the works. You know what we call it? Fantastico! How come you call yours McDLT? Sincerely, Alex Lopez.
Good question, Alex. So just for you, call it the hot side hot, cool side cool, every delicious thing you could want on a hamburger. Or just call it McDLT, the one with the works.
You always hurt the one you love.
People have a love-hate relationship with their cars. They love them, but they don't always treat them right. Yet, 92% of all Subarus registered since 1975 are still on the road. Now, imagine how much longer they'd last if people didn't love them so much. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
Well, that was the 2-minute warning with 1:58 seconds to go. It is 16-7. New Orleans leads over St. Louis. It'll be 4th down and long yardage for the Cardinals, and they're going to go for it. Gene Stallman says, what the heck? I can't get the ball back anyway unless it's a turnover.
Yeah, you've got to give yourself the opportunity to at least try to make the first down here in this situation.
This is Jim Mora.
Jim Mora is as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs right now. He says, just stop him, guys.
He wants to get back down on Bourbon Street later tonight with a victory under his belt. 4th down conversion. Can they do it? They did it. They did it right at the marker. Gained about 3 extra yardage. So J.T. Smith comes up with it. That's 7 catches for J.T. for 95 yards.
You know, what happens a lot of times to a player in JT's position is that, you've never really given the opportunity to break out and show what you can really do. Now after, you've been around 9 years, you're developing the confidence in yourself. Suddenly you get the opportunity to play. Somebody gives you that opportunity like a Gene Stallings, and you do the best you can for him.
Minute 52. Again, Moore on the haunches, looking at things from that perspective. It's Stump Mitchell. Stumps doesn't have the first down as he gets it up to the 39. That makes a minute 41. The clock runs. They go without the huddle in the 2-minute drill. Now the official moves in because the ball had been kicked. He moves it back behind the 40-yard line.
I think big Tony Elliott gave it a little boost.
Again, Stout. Is complete to Farrell. He's down to the 45, maybe the 46. Again, they go without the huddle.
Defensively, you're willing to give up those plays that keep the ball in the middle of the field and keep the clock moving.
A minute 19 on the clock. 2nd down and 5. Jim Moore looks there. In New Orleans, they're happy with the way that things had happened, but nobody's ever happier than the owner of this ball club, Tom Benson, who likes to boogie.
He was a famous auto dealer from New Orleans way. He made it big in Texas selling Chevrolets. Then he bought a football team so he could realize one of his biggest dreams. He's a dancer now in the NFL, and he does the Benson boogie on the football field.
The Benson Boogie is the hottest thing to hit New Orleans in a long time. You can bet the folks down there are going to be happy if they can hold on to the 16-7 win today.
Ralph, the key question is, though, what will the commissioner's office do about owners dancing on the field?
I'm worried about what they'll do in New York about you dancing in the booth the way you've been carrying on this afternoon. I thought you were Tom Benson for a while. Our spotter John Morilovich has been playing music, and Dan Jiggets has been dancing most of the day. A minute 19 seconds to go in this ball game. It'll be 2nd down and 5. The ball just across the 45, as you see. Will Stout have to tuck it? Oh, overthrowing the intended receiver, Troy Johnson, and overthrowing him badly.
He was out running for his life, though, is the point to be made. The fact that the defensive line is kind of rushing him in waves. That first wave comes by, he dodges that one, and here comes the second wave of the inside personnel, and they're coming by and making him, forcing him to throw the ball. He can't run it like he would like to in that situation.
Well, he had two choices. One, the receiver was wide open that he threw to. The other situation is he could have easily picked up the first down and plus a few extra yards and been looking at 1st and 10 with about 1:10 on the clock rather than 3rd and 5 with 1:12. He got the first one there as he hits J.T. Smith again. 8th reception of the day for J.T.
He said, let J.T. do it.
J.T. just keeps hauling him in. He gabbed 11 yards on that play. 1:07 to go. 106 yards.
You know, things continue the way that they have for J.T. Smith this season. It might not be totally outrageous to think of him making an appearance in the Pro Bowl. Certainly with the number of receptions that he's got and the yardage, it's been an exceptional year for any receiver, more particularly for J.T. Smith.
You know, New Orleans has given up a lot more yardage today than they did last week against Los Angeles.
You've seen them drop off a little bit in terms of what they give up in the pass. They've been giving up a little bit more yardage via the pass.
Stump Mitchell. New Orleans running him out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. That'll stop the clock. St. Louis still has 2 timeouts remaining as they march toward Pater after a 14-yard pickup by Stump Mitchell. And Stump is a double threat. He can run the football with the best of them. He's really played well since O.J. Anderson went to the Giants. And that's getting like a better and better trade for St. Louis because O.J. really hasn't produced so far. He's been injured, but still hasn't produced when he's been there.
Well, the thing, you got to give O.J. a break, though. When he's coming into a new system. He's got to learn that offensive system. I have the feeling, though, that once he does, I think he'll turn things around for himself.
1st and 10. It's Farrell. He's shy of the first down. He'll have to stop it now at the 22-yard line.
If you want to notice how nervous offensive linemen are, watch the tackles from St. Louis and watch them get in position. They won't put their hands down on the ground. They're going to sit up in that pass position automatically.
Well, tonight on CBS, it's an all-new 60 Minutes. Find out why Nicaraguan writer Patricia Lara was arrested when she tried to enter the United States. For the first time, the State Department tells all, and it's a 60 Minutes exclusive. Then it's Jessica Lansbury starring in the award-winning series Murder, She Wrote. That'll be followed by part 1 of the miniseries Fresno. It's all tonight here on CBS. Farrell is shaken up. Stump Mitchell was shaken up earlier as Farrell comes off to the sideline. We said earlier on cold days, when it's not real cold, when it's not real warm, just kind of stinging a little bit, the injuries always seems to come in groves.
Well, it's one of the reasons is the fact that, your muscles tighten up very quickly when it's cold out here like it is today. And it's still down in the 30s on that field. That sun has gone up behind the stadium now, and the field's in the shade. And it gets a little chilly down there now. And if you don't keep warm and keep constantly moving, you can pull some muscles very easily.
If they tried to play this ball game here on Friday afternoon, they would have played it in sleep because it hit about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The Giants are driving, trailing by 1 at 20-19. Detroit still over top of Philadelphia.
Pittsburgh still maintaining that lead over Houston.
It's about the same as it was. Cincinnati's picked up another one. Tampa Bay finally got on the board against Green Bay. Stout looking. It is knocked down. Flags were down. The intended receiver, Roy Green. Looked to me like number 44, David Weimers, the man who knocked it away.
And I think either Cliff was hit late or is holding. One of the two.
How about holding?
I'll take it.
Last week, a big drive by Los Angeles was stopped when David Weimer intercepted the ball on the 6-yard line.
Dave Weimer's the kind of guy you get the feeling that he's going to roll the dice a little bit back there. He's going to take that
Illegal
chance.
hands to the face. Number 71 offense, still 2nd down.
Another headshot. What's wrong with these guys today? Stay away from the head, fellas. Dave Weimer is the kind of guy who's going to roll the dice a little bit back there in the defensive secondary. He's going to take some chances, and every once in a while he's going to turn up with a big play that's going to turn the game around for you.
47 seconds to go. We're in regulation. It is 16-7. New Orleans leads over St. Louis. New Orleans has led all the way. Went through the first quarter scoreless. Sakahima is in the backfield, number 36 for St. Louis. He's in with Ron Wolfe, number 24. This is Sakahima. He can motor. They stop him at the 23.
Ricky Jackson checked his oil.
Yeah, he did for a fact. May have serviced him well there. One timeout left for St. Louis. They go without the huddle. Stout. Incompleted to Ron Wolfe. To its sidearm. Wolfe was wide open.
Yeah, but Cliff's running for his life now. He's running towards the sideline. Knows he's getting squeezed in by that sideline, and the defensive personnel chasing him over to the side. He's got unloaded, and he's doing it on the run, across his body. Very difficult to make an accurate pass that way.
Stout is 19 of 34 today for 186 yards. They won't be sending this to the Football Hall of Fame. 17 seconds to go. Clock stopped. The ball on the 21. First downs mean nothing except it would continue along the drive that they have. They need a score with 17 seconds to go. It's 4th down and 2. Deflected, intercepted. It was intercepted by New Orleans. Let's go back and tell you that as the first half ended, almost similarly to what we have seen in the ball game here, where they had the big brouhaha up at midfield, they gave New Orleans credit for an interception of Cliff Stout.
And this gives them the second one today. Antonio Gibson makes the pickoff after it got bounced around a little bit. That's 3 interceptions on the day for New Orleans.
Antonio Gibson, they describe him as a good athlete who likes to hit.
Nicknamed the Hitman early on in his career.
Well, the Saints have it. First down, 10 yards to go. First and 10. Only 10 seconds to go. Now, St. Louis can stop the clock if they wish. It seems like a futile thing to do, and they don't do it. Jim Moore keeps the playoff drive going as they win this afternoon by a score of 16-7. We'll be back with more from Busch Stadium in just a minute after the Cardinals have lost to the Saints.